What are we doing today, Jacob?
Today we are doing our top 5 best and worst films and television series of the decade.
We're going to be ushering a new year and a new decade. Welcome to Nerd Out. So today, guys, we're going to be basically bringing in the new year. We're going to release this on New Year's Day, I hope, anyway. And we're recording this in advance, but as you can see...
Only like 2 days in advance.
Only 2 days in advance.
Because tomorrow is New Year's.
Yeah, but we're going to be looking at our top 5 and top 5 best and top 5 worst films of the decade. So this is from 2010 to 2019.
And we will also have a separate list for TV series. We'll throw in some honourable mentions for films and TV series as well.
Only for the best, though, not the worst.
Yeah. Don't want to be too much of a bitch around it.
Yeah.
So, without further ado...
as you can also see, we've changed location down to my living room because of the festive decorations.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a more Christmassy vibe to this.
Yeah, I think I quite like it.
So, Tyler, we'll start with top 5 worst films.
All right.
You've got your list.
I've got my list.
Right.
Let's go one at a time.
We'll go one at a time.
Top five worst films.
These aren't in order. It's very, very hard to order.
Yeah, we can't order
these
them. We just can't.
So, come on, top 5 worst.
Top 5 worst films of the decade. I'm going to kick off with Frozen.
Okay.
Reason why I have watched it, I had no choice but to watch it. It was hard to watch. It pulled on so many Disney cliches. And also, don't get me wrong, Disney made a mint off of it. They made a complete mint, and I think they did a great job of monetizing and marketing Frozen so well. But personally, because again, this top 5 and these lists are personally down to personal opinion. I didn't like Frozen. All the aspects of Frozen they'd already done in previous Disney films. So to me, it was just a rehash.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Frozen. I'll be honest. I don't really wish they didn't make a sequel.
Yeah.
I'm boycotting Disney. I have not seen Toy Story 4. I don't plan on it.
Yeah.
And I will not be seeing Frozen 2 simply because I don't think the films were necessary.
Yeah.
One film of my worst, Emoji Movie.
I didn't see it, you see.
Why? I think some of these films on here are just kind of you can't quite put your finger on why they're shit.
Mm.
They just are. Emoji Movie
is one of them.
Very, very entertaining when you're drunk. I think I watched it drunk the first time I saw it. And it's like anything, you're easily amused.
Yeah.
Then I watched it when I was sober and I just kind of...
It didn't tickle my pickle, that's why I never watched it.
Yeah.
Alright. One of the next ones I've got, I know we... a bit of a... Because this will be coming out before our Rise of Skywalker review, won't it?
Yes.
And we've already recorded the Rise of Skywalker review, but
in fact, we've recorded that one about 2 hours ago.
We said there a Star Wars film isn't a bad film. There is only bad Star Wars films.
Yep.
However, Star Wars: The Last Jedi is in my bottom 5 worst films of the decade.
I hated that film as a Star Wars film. As a movie, I think it did a lot of the right things for a film, not for a Star Wars film, so it's not on my worst list.
It's on my worst list because it destroyed Star Wars for me in a certain way. It really did.
Yeah.
The second film of any trilogy in Star Wars, I've noticed, has always been one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I found Attack of the Clones was the better of the prequels. Personal opinion again, this is all personal opinion. And I thought The Last Jedi really let down that aspect of it.
I have put The Last Airbender.
No, I haven't seen that either.
In 2010. It was just so bad.
Yeah.
Do know your next 3.
Yeah.
Just if you go through your 3, but then with explanations as to why.
Okay. So my next one is The Hobbit: Battle of Five Armies.
My favourite of the 3.
I didn't like the Hobbit trilogy, and I thought the Battle of Five Armies was the worst one.
I hated
out of the
trilogy.
3. I thought it was completely
the
unnecessary.
The book is that thick.
Yeah. I don't know why they turned it into a trilogy, but Hobbit: Battle of Five Armies, The Nun, It was a horror film it was a horror film I was really looking forward to, and it just sucked ass. It absolutely sucked ass. I love the Conjuring series, but The Nun just killed it for me. And finally, I've never been a James Bond film fan, and Skyfall was just dull. I hated Skyfall.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Skyfall either.
No, and that's the rest of my bottom five.
Right. Justice League.
I've not watched it, but
For anyone that's seen it, somehow Batman vs Superman was a bad film that Justice League actually made look good. But that's how bad Justice League was. The best parts of Batman vs Superman was Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah.
Was Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and the casting of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor worked.
Yeah.
But I've got a cat behind me.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just such a bad film.
Yeah.
Everything was awful. At one point, Ben Affleck is laying on grass, and it looks like he's someone in a badly fitting.
Can I help you?
Like, in a badly fitting costume that you get from the fancy dress store.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four remake.
Oh yeah, I can understand that.
The
I haven't
fight
seen it, but I
scene
can understand it.
doesn't even last a minute. Right at the end, it's pathetic. It's like, oh, it's beginning. No, it's finished. The film was just crap.
Welcome to the newest member of Nerd Out. This is Jasmine.
And I can quite happily say this is my least favourite film of the entire decade. A Simple Favour. I went into the cinema with it. Within 5 minutes, it was like, it wants to be a comedy, but also wants to be, it wants to be intense. It wants to be a thriller, and it just doesn't work. Like, comedies and thrillers are genres that don't work together.
Okay, yeah. And which one was it? You never said what film it was.
Yeah, Simple Favour.
Simple Favour. Never. I never didn't even.
It was awful. It was so bad. The trailer made it look mildly entertaining.
All right.
I genuinely only saw it because it had Anna Kendrick in it.
All right, fair enough. Shall we move on to the top 5 best films of the decade?
Yes.
Again, couldn't order them. We just can't do it. Let's start off with you this time.
So we're going to do one at a time for this one?
Yeah, one at a time for this one.
John Wick.
I agree.
Almost put this as an honourable mention. But it was just so good.
Yeah.
What can you not like about the John Wick franchise?
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is just
fantastic.
He is John Wick. Like, they couldn't have got that any better.
Yeah. This might be a bit controversial, but I absolutely love this film, and it's Priest. You know the guy who plays Vision?
Yeah.
He's in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's where he's a vampire hunter in like this like, post-apocalyptic dystopian like world. And I don't know what it was, like the way Priest was written, the way Priest was done, because it's based off a comic book again. Much like, like a lot of things are really. I really enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the premise of it, and I wanted them to expand on it. They just never did. But yeah, Priest is one of my top 5 films of the decade.
Fair play. I think this film I'm going to say now, it's probably quite an obvious one for a lot of people. I know my parents hated it because there was a weird scene. There was a lot of weird scenes in it. It really revamped the franchise. That's Mad Max Fury Road.
Never watched it.
Absolutely brilliant film. Absolutely smashed it at the Oscars. So well. And it had Tom Hardy in it. I mean, what more can you ask for? Had cars, like Armageddon, and Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I say this next one, I was like you with John Wick. I nearly put this as an honourable mention. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. How to Train Your Dragon, the first one.
Yeah.
I think How to Train Your Dragon, not just the first film, but the series, the trilogy, is one of DreamWorks' masterpieces. It is phenomenal. And I think I put the first one in there because even though the second and third one are pretty good, I think the first one still holds up really well as a film. I think it's a great family film. And I watch it to this day and I never get bored of it.
Yeah, no, I can go with that.
That was released in 2010 as well.
Yeah. Then this one... Now, I'm quite surprised that there's not a lot of Marvel-related films on my list. For who I am as a person. This one has to be in there. The guy had been playing the role since early 2000, I think 2001, maybe slightly earlier. And he had to have his own film to wrap the whole thing up. Yes, there were some bad movies in there. There always is. It's Fox. But, like, Logan.
No, I can see that.
The film was just incredible. Yeah. It's an emotional roller coaster. It worked in black and white. How many films could you say that for?
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman. I mean, he's just...
No, I completely agree with it.
As much as I'd love to see Wolverine in the Marvel films, now that they own Fox, I don't think it would work with anyone else.
No, it'll have to be Jackman. Completely agree with that. I've put Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
That almost made my list.
I love the Harry Potter franchise. My favourite one has to be... My favourite Harry Potter film of all time, though, is Goblet of Fire. But from this...
fourth on mine.
Deathly Hallows Part 2, when I first watched Deathly Hallows Part 2, I loved it. Compared to Deathly Hallows Part 1, which I found quite boring first time I watched it. But now I liked it the more I watch it.
I still like it, I just find it quite
tedious.
Uneventful.
Yeah. But Deathly Hallows Part 2 for me is definitely one of my top films of the decade. It rounded off the Harry Potter series really well, I found. Not as good as the books, but I think it's still good. Never is.
This one is quite, again, not to everyone's liking. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet.
Yeah.
It's the film that finally won Leonardo DiCaprio his Oscar.
Revenant.
Revenant. Such a good movie. Amazingly well played. Well made. Tom Hardy is best. Leo DiCaprio is best. It's so intense. Like, I think they're just... A lot of these films, some of these films I'm saying aren't necessarily, like, entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think they do what films do. You get emotionally drawn into them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And you're just part of it.
Yeah. I've never seen it, so I can't say anything.
It's just such a well done film.
You're not going to like this one. It's part of the Cornetto trilogy. And I think it's an amazing film, and I reckon it's one of Simon Pegg's and Nick Frost's...
Don't say World's End.
It's The World's End. I think it is the masterpiece of the Cornetto trilogy. I think it is funny, it is action-packed, and it has a very good story behind it.
It is the worst of the three.
It's the best of the three, and you cannot change my mind on that. And I think it deserves a place in my top 5 of the decade, because it is a film I have watched so many times, and will happily have on repeat throughout the day. Go on, your turn. I know you don't like it, but go on.
My final film, I don't think you've seen it yet, came out this year. I went in to watch it thinking this is going to be overhyped. I don't like the actor very much. I don't think he can... Well, before going into this, I didn't think he could act.
I just remember the actor's name in Priest, by the way, Paul Bettany.
Yeah. I think he's a bit of a dick in real life. Well, he's a massive dick in real life. And that is The Joker. The film, you haven't seen it, you can't.
I haven't seen it, but I don't want to.
The film itself, it just pushed you into so many levels, and it wasn't a comic book film. Like, that's what I loved about it. It really wasn't a comic book superhero
yeah,
film.
I know what you mean. I look at it and I'm like, it's not Joker to me. It's not a Joker film.
To me, he is not the Joker, and the director has said that publicly. He's not the Joker. But you could see how he'd influenced the Joker. You could see how it worked. There are bits of the film that I didn't like, but like so small bits. I don't think I've been on a cinema trip in my life that has thrown me into a point where I'm that emotionally involved with a film.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I think that's why.
My final favourite top 5 film of the decade, Deadpool.
You see, that's an honourable mention of mine.
I see. It's one of my top 5 is Deadpool. It's funny. It brings the Merc with the Mouth to life. Ryan Reynolds does a perfect job of portraying him. They done Colossus excellently. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is awesome. I just like Deadpool.
I think it is a film that we've been wanting for years, and the fact that
I remember when the test footage came out, it was amazing.
And the fact that in the last week Ryan Reynolds has confirmed that Disney have agreed Deadpool 3.
Yeah, and hopefully it sticks with the formula.
Yeah, it will. I can't see it not. Now, we're going to go through the honourable mentions quickly. Don't need a lot of explanations.
Nope.
Quick Right, so what's your honourable mentions?
So my first one is Legion. Again, Paul Bettany, amazing job. Angels trying to kill the next, was it Christ, I think, or whatever it is. The rest of the How to Train Your Dragon films, because they're just awesome. Guardians of the Galaxy, 1 and 2. Amazing. And finally, because it has some, I think he's an amazing actor. He's done a brilliant job. I can't remember his name though, but Get Out.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name either.
I thought it was an amazing film, intense, draw me in, and I'm surprised he didn't get an Oscar for it.
My honourable mentions: Thor Ragnarok,
Yep.
Guardians 1 and 2,
Yep.
Endgame, and Infinity War. So I've said
Infinity more War than Endgame.
I've said many Marvel movies. Dunkirk.
Great film. Great opening sequence.
One of just the best films of all time.
Yeah.
Like as in cinematography.
Oh,
and
God,
the fact that they did so well with small.
And very surprised by Harry Styles' job, how well of a job he'd done there.
Inception. Loved that film. It was just the more I had to watch it about 4 times just to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And I put Deadpool.
Fair enough. Should we move on to TV series?
Yes.
Do you want to start with worst or best? Because you're not going to like my lists.
I will start with least favourites.
Okay, 5 worst TV series.
Do you want to go through these? So go through all of yours.
I'll go
with explanations.
Okay. Arrow. I did try watching it. I couldn't get into it. It just didn't appeal to me. It was just not that good for me. I did not like it. I'm not a fan of DC. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Marvel fan out of the two. I will watch DC, but the Arrow as a TV series, I just didn't like it. Following on from that, Flash. I think it was better than Arrow, and I will say I don't watch many TV series, so
You doesn't watch them long enough to even comment on half of them.
or that too. But I did try and watch these. I did watch them. They just didn't appeal to me. I think these are the only 10 TV series I've actually watched this decade. Rick and Morty. I don't know why.
You loved it when it came out.
When it came out, I loved it, but now I look back at it and I go, it sucks. Very, very controversial
You're
there.
going to hate my top 5 and my honorable mentions.
Luke Cage.
I can agree with that.
I tried watching Luke Cage after
I actually
Jessica
didn't
Jones.
think of that when writing this.
Yeah. I tried to watch it after Jessica Jones, didn't get into it.
I've watched that many TV series that I know you don't have an honourable mentions.
Yeah.
I've got one for best and worst because
I think I've got a couple of
Yeah.
honourable mentions in my head. And finally, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. No, I didn't like it. Just didn't like it.
Alright, you ready for mine?
Go ahead.
Top 5 most hated of the decade. Number 1, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agreed with.
The first season was not too bad. Then it just kind of went... And yet they're still making it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's been cancelled now, hasn't it? But number 2. And this is... I watched the first episode. I really was looking forward to this as a film. They made a TV series instead. They cast the guy who played Ramsay Bolton, and I thought it was going to be brilliant. It was just the worst thing I've ever seen on TV. Marvel's Inhumans. So bad.
Yeah.
I don't. Another one. Going off your Arrow and the Flash. Legends of Tomorrow. Actually enjoyed the first season. Can't really tell you what else happened because it just... I think the reason why the first season was alright is because they had half the amount of episodes of Arrow and the Flash, but the same budget.
Yeah.
Whereas after that, they're like, let's make more for a CGI heavy show, but with like no budget. And it just didn't work. Orange is the New Black.
No, didn't watch it.
This is quite controversial because I know a lot of people love it. I watched it. I've watched every episode, so I'm one of those ones that even if I hate it, I will power through.
Yeah.
Whereas in Humans, I could not do that. It's the most inconsistent show I've ever seen. You have one fantastic episode and then like 3 just tripe. And lastly, and this is probably quite controversial, The Happy Place.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that either. I've watched it. And
How can a show be that hyped, but also be that shit? Like, I just don't get it.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
They've got so much they can do with that show. And it's like, oh, we could do this, or we could go for the crap alternative. I like that one. What?
Alright, do you want to go through best TV shows one at a time, or do you want to just put the list with a brief explanation?
Yeah.
One at a time.
So, no, brief explanation, I think.
Alright, let's start with you on this one.
All right. Top 5. Big Bang Theory.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do one at a time for this. Big Bang Theory. I've watched it since day one. Absolutely loved it. I genuinely did cry at the ending because it has been like 12, 13 years of my life.
It was a very good ending.
It was a very, very satisfying ending, which you don't get in a lot of shows. Game of Thrones. I just thought it was such a well-rounded show, and you really got invested in the characters. Yeah, a few seasons were a bit crap. Season 9 was horrific, but overall, the fact a sitcom can stem that long shows just how good it is.
It's a lot like Friends.
Yeah. But you don't... Well, you do kind of hate the two. Like, Ross and Rachel kind of hate them, but like... And you kind of hate Sheldon, but like, you know...
Yeah, everyone needs
and you hate Penny as well.
My one... I'm going to go with Mike and Molly. For those of you who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't watch many TV shows. I spend a lot of time on YouTube more than anything.
Yeah.
And Mike and Molly for me, it's light-hearted. It's family. It's not family comedy, but it's light-hearted comedy. It makes you laugh, and I think the characters they're just so lovable. And great, and it makes me chuckle every time I watch it. I think it's a really good TV series.
Yeah, it's just a feel-good show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very feel-good show.
I've put another one. I've put Rick and Morty. The new season, I think, is the best one yet. I think, to be fair, of the probably top 5 best episodes, they've probably got 4 of them in the new season. Yeah, the first season potentially doesn't age that well, but I've loved it. You can watch it drunk. You can binge watch it in a day. Like,
I think I can only stand Rick and Morty now if I was high, if I'm perfectly honest.
No, I can get that. I think it's very sophisticated in how it's written.
Yeah.
You do lose that element of confusion quite a lot, but I think there's something about it that just kind of holds well.
Yeah, no, I get that. My next one is the Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah, it's an honourable mention of mine because it didn't
See,
last long enough.
That's my problem. It's cancelled now, and it's really pissed me off, and that's why it's in my top 5 best TV shows, because not continuing a show like the Santa Clarita Diet is a fucking heresy. It really is. It was funny. It was one of the funniest shows I have ever seen in a long time, and I can watch that the only season that does it. Hang on, no, 3 seasons?
3 seasons.
I can watch those 3 seasons over and over again and love every second of it.
I think it was really well made. I think the 2 main characters, Drew Barrymore and I can't remember the bloke's name. Even the kids, they were fantastic.
Is it the bloke? He's such a great actor, just constant man on the edge.
It was proper British sarcasm in an American sitcom,
which is very hard to get.
And yeah,
it worked
I think
very well.
It was just very. I don't know why it was cancelled.
Yeah, me neither. Your next one?
This might be a bit controversial. Gotham. I think.
I tried it. I wouldn't say it was one of the worst ones. It was okay.
Season 1 was a bit of a hard push. I think the first 6 episodes you've got to push through.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that believes that every episode needs to be great.
Mm-hmm.
However, my top TV show of all time, will come up, the first 3 episodes suck. And the last couple of episodes suck as well. Spoiler alert, I think everyone knows what that is now.
I think I know which one you're on about. That's one of my
Gotham Season 2 was probably some of the best TV I've ever seen. Season 3 got better. And the final season, it was amazing, and also shut me up one time because I was watching it, a very intense episode of it, at like 2 o'clock in the morning, only one in my house, and then someone tried to get into my house because they went down the wrong set of stairs.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm there watching Gotham very early in the morning, thinking I'm about to get robbed. So, very emotionally invested in that one.
My next one is Stranger Things.
Still not seen it, and I'm...
It's fine that you haven't seen it. I won't blame you that you haven't seen it, but I think Stranger Things the story is okay, but the characters are absolutely fucking awesome. I have never been so invested in a group of characters so much in my life. And I think Stranger Things is one of the best TV shows to come out of Netflix ever. I've got 2 Stranger Things pop vinyls right there.
Yeah.
This one is my favourite. It's Dustin in his snowball dance suit. You could only get this one at the San Diego 2018 Comic-Con. At the pop vinyl stand.
And somehow your parents got it not from San Diego.
Not from San Diego. And I've also got a hopper there in Vines. But yeah, I love Stranger Things. I think it's one of the best TV series I've ever watched in my life. That's done.
Yeah. This next one, for me, is my favourite TV show of all time. Finale let us down. First 3 episodes I said I couldn't get into it.
You've still got 2 more to go, though, haven't you? You've still got another one after this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've still got another one, but I'm saying that this one now. That's Game of Thrones.
Good series. Good TV show.
Absolutely loved it. I'm still a bit annoyed that the most useless character in the entire show ended up on the throne.
I will say Game of Thrones is not in my top 5. It is an honourable mention.
That's surprising, actually. Considering how many conversations we've had
And debates
solely on Game of Thrones. We've got our own houses as well that we've made and fan fiction.
Yes.
So that kind of surprises me.
I do love it, but I don't think because of how it ended.
Yeah.
It for me it really brought it down a few pegs.
I'm really hoping the 2 prequel series live up to the show.
Yeah.
But I just loved it. I've never been so involved in a show, both watching it and outside of it.
Yeah.
And the fact you can sit there and watch a 5-minute intro and literally just sit there going like how many shows can you happily say you will watch the intro rather than skip it?
Yeah, that's true. My next one is The Mandalorian. I actually really enjoyed that.
And we haven't even seen the last
We
episode
haven't
yet.
seen the last episode yet. We haven't recorded the review yet. But from what I've seen, I actually really enjoyed The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Again, this is not in order. I have written this down randomly, but The Mandalorian I think is one of the best TV series I've seen come out of the decade, but also one of the best TV series I've come out of the Star Wars trilogy.
I disagree with you there, because Star Wars Rebels, I absolutely loved it in its time. And I from what I've seen of from the Clone Wars, I like them. I think The Mandalorian, because we've had a lot of crap with like Last Jedi and that, that it's good that we've got this show.
Yeah, I think it's good.
And the fact I do think it's the best TV series we've had this year.
What's your final one?
Not The Mandalorian. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I've seen bits of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and I do find it very funny.
Absolutely love the show. I think the fact that it got cancelled and then was bought by a separate TV broadcaster the following day just shows how many people love this show.
And it is very successful.
It's very, very funny, and all of the actors love each other. They're all like, if you look at their like social medias and that, like Terry Crews is just obsessed with the show, and the fact the first episode of their next season is going to be an hour-long episode for a sitcom.
Yeah,
that is just unheard of. But people want to see more of this show, and I've managed to rewatch it like 5 times in the last 2 years.
My final one is actually my favourite TV series of the decade, of all time, of ever. It is the best damn thing you ever did see. It is The Orville. Seth MacFarlane has created such a masterpiece with The Orville. I know a lot of people might say that it's a Star Trek ripoff, but
the first 20 minutes are a Star Trek ripoff. I'd say that's it.
But I think that's part of the comedic value of The Orville. But also, when you look at The Orville, it's got its own story behind it. It is its own. It's not just a great comedy. It's a great sci-fi show.
It's not just that as well. It's the fact that it manages to talk about so many real-world issues. And it does it so well. And I think Seth MacFarlane's just done a brilliant job.
And the characters, I think, are absolutely amazing. Alara Katan was amazing. Bordus is amazing. Speaking of which, I have a signed card right here. Again, another Christmas present, and it is my pride and joy.
I haven't seen an episode of The Orville past when Lara Katan left. That's as far as I've got.
Spoilers, by the way.
I mean, it came That was ages ago.
It was
so.
ages ago. And I completely love it. I absolutely love it. It's just amazing. Honourable mentions, quickly.
Right. So I have honourables for worst and best.
Mm-hmm.
So for worst, I am going to say The Flash, and it pains me to say it. I love the first 3 seasons, but the CGI is just
Terrible.
horrific.
It's horrid.
Huh?
It's horrid.
It's just so bad.
It's disgusting to watch, Jacob. I nearly threw up. I vomited out of my ass.
I think there was a Star Trek one on Netflix that was awful, but I can't remember what it was called.
Never saw it. Didn't watch it. Didn't watch it.
There was something else. Obviously, we're going to go with all the soaps. EastEnders, Coronation
But they've
Street.
been running since like the 80s.
Yeah, but still, they're the worst of the
56,
decade. They just shouldn't
know.
exist. For best, because I've blanked on the worst ones, my honourable mentions are The Orville.
Yeah.
I'm saying Arrow. I'd love the first 3 seasons.
It's a piece of shit. Turn it off.
4th season was poor. 5th season was alright. Haven't seen anything since then. Star Wars Rebels. Absolutely loved it. How I Met Your Mother. And it's an honourable mention. It is one of my favourite sitcoms, one of my favourite shows of all time. It is only an honourable mention because it finished in 2014 and it started before the decade.
Yeah.
And that final season
Didn't
in
Big Bang
2014.
Theory start before the decade?
It did, but the fact it literally finished at the end of the decade. Like, it finished this
fair
year.
enough.
Because it's been going on every year.
Yeah, that's true.
So that probably started in like 2007, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas How I Met Your Mother, the last season was just so bad.
Yeah.
And I put The Mandalorian, I've only put it as an honourable mention because I think I can't judge it on 8 episodes of half an hour. We need longer episodes and we need more episodes.
That'll be in our Mandalorian review, series review. My honourable mentions, very quickly. Daredevil, but only season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1 was good. After that, got shit. Jessica Jones, but only season 1 because of David Tennant. And I think that pretty much wraps up
I've just thought of more honourable mentions. As you said, Jessica
Jesus
Jones,
Christ.
right?
Yeah.
Punisher, season 1. Honourable mentions for being piss poor. Probably one of the worst TV shows. I don't know how. Iron Fist.
Sucks.
Absolutely horrific.
Sucks.
Yeah, that was horrific. And an honourable mention that only just missed out on my top 5, Peaky Blinders. I think the main reason it missed out on my top 5 is because there's too much hype around
Actually,
it.
I have one more honourable mention, and this is going to sound extremely like not me. Call the Midwife. I love that show. I am emotionally attached to it. I want to die with it. And on this note, we're going to...
And this has been Nerd Out. I can't even be bothered to finish.
No.
Thank you for listening. Happy New Year. I have been Jacob.
I've been Tyler.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Enjoy the rest of 2020, and here's to the next decade of hopefully really good nerdy shit. What?